Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is. Welcome back. You only got me for about 30 minutes. I'm going to be in here with you guys for a bit. You know, I put that post before that, you know, we're going towards this wall. President Trump's doing some amazing things to kind of undo things and take away entitlements for people that have been stealing money from you for a long time. And we have what's happening in Minneapolis. You have to pay attention to that, but you also have to pay attention to what's happening in Colorado to basically strip you of your constitutional rights and hold the people of Colorado hostage and say, okay, we're just going to send in the stick and basically take away or arrest anyone that doesn't do exactly what we say. We are in a state of perpetual treason. It's happened over the last couple decades. Now that they have density, you see it with the nearly 140 rulings of judges in the federal level that are blocking President Trump from getting things done. We're in trouble. We're in real trouble. And the issue is not that we can't resolve it. The issue is we're going to have to be willing to make some decisions that might find ourselves, it might put us in a pretty perilous place. Did you guys get that video by chance? Did you get the video this morning? The one of the Chinese guy, the foreigner. Huh? Look, I'm going to play something for you guys. And this is a post that I put up. And this was sent to me. This is a foreigner saying that 10% of the country of the United States wants a revolution. That's not true. Actually, it could be true. Because the 10% of the country that wants a revolution are foreigners. You have 340 million people in this country. Illegally, you have at least 20 million. And then you have the useful idiots, and you have what I call the synagogue of Satan that are standing up and doing the bidding, and then you have people in positions of trust and authority that have been put there because they will follow orders. The narrative that you see out there today is run by this organization called PSL. Which is the Party of Socialism and Liberation, and then the DSA, which is Democratic Socialists of America, basically a communist society. And when you look at what they're tied to, like the Satanic Church and other organizations, I'll just say it, tied to liberal white women that are tied to being mostly Jewish. And much like the things that you've seen out there, you have the Jews that have been captured by a cartel. It's organized crime. And, you know, we're facing all the holes in the boat. And I know that President Trump has to be looking at it going, well, you can't say that out loud. You can't say that out loud. We know that we have an ODNI report that shows that the elections were stolen over the last 2 decades. But there's also a group of people on the Republican side that have been taking these grifts and taking these money from both sides that are deathly afraid that they won't get reelected either. I mean, if you have free and fair elections, everything changes. But you have some massive problems with how do you get to the bottom of it? We are not collectively together. I keep saying this about the GOP because in Colorado, the people inside the Republican Party eat themselves. They spend all their time fighting each other, and this person's bad, and writing dossiers about people that are in the party, and then giving it to the radical left media and saying, hey, I want you to go after my adversary. Then we never get an opportunity to talk about the problem. And I would venture to say that most of the problems that we have collectively center in on things like high taxes, property tax that is, doubled over the last 3 years. Education environment that is so degraded that it's a shell of its former self. High administration cost, money going to foreign organizations that give free health care to foreigners while stepping over the bodies of black people specifically inside their community. I mean, we are in a really, really, really bad place. And I didn't have an aha moment like this until last week. I mean, I knew we don't talk about the issues, but that 10% that they're talking about, these are people that we imported, our enemies that we imported from other countries to destroy the ethos of our nation. We brought the enemy inside. And this guy is telling it straight. Pay attention to this. Go ahead and play it.
If you have an American flag in front of your house, swipe away. Do not watch this video. Okay, there's about 10% Americans want a revolution. It's too early, but it's not too early to prepare for the revolution. Let me share with you a business plan to prepare for the revolution. Right now, it's 2026. If some households still have an American flag in front of their house, that means those people are supporting the American system. They are your enemy, and they will be your enemy when the revolution starts. Before you eat the rich, you need more resources and weapons. Where to get all these resources and weapons? Get it from those households who got American flag in front of their house. Okay, so you guys also need to have a community set up a website and ask all your members to take picture of every household who got American flag and upload those information to your website, address of each household. When the time comes, you guys can use this information as evidence to eat them first. Eat them, God will support you, Buddha will support you. Eat them with no regret, okay? So this is my business plan for you. When the time comes, some household, they will pay you a lot of money just to take off those information off your website.
So let me just tell you what I have to say about this. There's three things that I have to say I want you to pay attention to. One, he's a foreigner. He's a foreigner. I mean, you don't have to like what Jake Lang is doing or what he's saying or any of that. The way that he's going about things. You don't have to like Nick Fuentes. You don't have to, I mean, now they're just basically going after Tucker Carlson. And I mean, anyone and everyone that has finally woken up and said, hey, the quiet part out loud, they become the pariahs. And they build a dossier against them. They have one against me. And frankly, I've done more in the state of Colorado than probably anyone else, singularly anyone else, that did it for the right reasons. I mean, I was the guy that they loved because I was always involved in giving money and doing things to help people. But there's three things you need to know. One, he's a foreigner. He benefits from America failing. Two, about 90% of the country wants to end the evil. This very evil, this man is saying that they should eat. The Americans who are the good people. Three, there's about 10% of the country that is sick of the 10% that think like this foreigner, and we're not afraid to eat evil. We welcome it. And frankly, we won't pay them to take it off their site. We will gather together and we'll eat them with no regrets. I want to tell you what the Bible is very clear about. The Bible is clear about evil people, and it says nothing about turning the other cheek. That's the capturing that happened of our church. Matter of fact, this is why they are working so hard to steal your Second Amendment. And this is why you have transgenders and really sick people that have gone out there and done things against the community, and then they're like, well, we'll just take away their gun rights. We'll get them back to where they have black powder guns. We are going to have to find a fraternity in every state, all 50 states. We are going to have to stop talking about Democrat versus Republican because they are both lost. President Trump is not the same as Jim Jordan and all of these other people that like to talk a good game but really can't ever deliver. It's a real problem. It is a real problem. And frankly, I'm not sure. I mean, the more that I sit here and have conversations with you about what we're dealing with, the more convinced I am that we are going to have to settle down. And I keep saying settle down. There are CIA, there are intelligence ops that are happening all over the country. We have one in Colorado. We have a guy that is supposedly wildly popular. But I go and talk to people, and they're like, well, everyone else is, it's the Pied Piper mentality. But they don't know anything about the guy. And the left uses those people because they come in, and in the last hour, they'll drop a dossier, and that'll absolutely destroy his chances of actually running the country, or running the state, excuse me. But at the same time, we have these other groups, these Democrat strongholds, these GOP strongholds that basically work to elect who they want. It's just a small group of people. And it doesn't matter if you don't talk about the issues. What they really want to do is they want to get back to a place where they can enslave the people in every state. But the gig is up. We already know that the election systems are absolutely fraudulent. We know that they've been fraudulent for decades. We know there's an ODNI report right now that has all the evidence and the whistleblowers and the corroborating evidence that shows the Dominion voting systems and the people in it, and Smartmatic and ESNS and Diebold, they're all corrupt systems. Every one of them. Clear ballot, every single one of them is based on the same system. Now, we've heard from the mainstream media, we've heard from all these people, none of which, by the way, we've walked past system architect, we've walked past experts, we pay guys like Alex Halderman, who doesn't even know what system architecture is, to say that he 100%, he's the guy that understands the systems inside the elections, but he really doesn't. He doesn't. And no matter how much information we have about the lack of transparency that we have inside the system, they continue to push this rhetoric. And it's bipartisan. And if you oppose it, you get people like Matt Crane, you get people like Jared Polis, and all these other people that stand up and say it's misinformation, disinformation, while calling the truth tellers liars, while they themselves are nothing but filthy traitors. They're treasonous traitors. We are already at war. We are already at war. So if you're watching this, I just want you to know, yeah, we're doing commerce, we're doing some things. You know, we have this issue coming up with the tariffs that we have to deal with. We have devaluation, we have overvaluation, we got inflation, we got all this stuff that's happening. And President Trump is trying to take care of the heads of the snake at every turn. But in the middle of that, we have players that are false characters. Again, we have one in Colorado. We have a really bad one in Colorado. And I'm not going to take my swipes at him yet, but I've read the brief. I'm pretty well versed on what is or isn't. And after the last 5 years, I'm not even surprised that there would be an element of the GOP that is pressing this. Oh, by the way, I have at least a half a dozen events that I was told by one of the campaigns that they said, do not invite Joe Oltmann to those debates. What are they afraid of? Why is Kyle Clark and the radical left running commercials on me and doing hit pieces every other day? And none of that bothers me, by the way. It doesn't bother me. I'm past the point where any of that would bother me. But the fact is that if you fundamentally talk to people on the street, if you ask your neighbor, Democrat, Republican, Independent, Barney the big red or the big purple dinosaur, it doesn't matter who you talk to. They'll all fundamentally say the same thing. They can't put their finger on the fact of why they're so upset, but I'm going to tell you why they're upset. None of the issues that they have are even the issues that any politician talks about. So people feel like, well, if these are all the issues I have and I can't resolve those, because obviously the politicians on one side or the other would know that these are the things we're facing, but they're not talking about it. So it must not be a problem for anyone else. It must just be me. But here's the reality. Lobbyist groups, special interests, and these radicals have created an environment in this war where you have become the village idiot. You have become the thing that they get to eat. And it's not the 10% that want the revolution. Those are the ones that will create the chaos. It's the 90% that are utterly confused and having to pick a side of Democrat or Republican only to always be disappointed. It doesn't matter what election we're talking about at what level. They get in there, they get amnesia, but they can't really get anything done because the system was never designed to help the people. But the people are concerned with high taxes. They're concerned with property taxes being double over the last couple of years. They're concerned with having property tax, period, and the fact that you have to rent your property from the government, making you an institutional slave. So when I tell you that we're at war, and you have the Rasmussen poll that puts out all this information, you have President Trump that puts out all this information, and you have all of these things that they have done to victimize people, which I'm going to show you something in Minneapolis. This just shows you how this radical element is now trying to capture everything in our society, and you will know that we are at war. Play this or put up the second post where I said that we're at war. They want to destroy our nation, and we're held hostages in our own nation. So this is a post that was put up that goes through the election results and what happened in Virginia. And there is now a bill in Virginia that has been introduced to get rid of any ability for you to do a hand count. Why would the elected officials that were selected, not elected, go out there and try to stop hand count paper ballots in person with an ID? Why would they try to get this of things? And I'm going to tell you why they want to get rid of those things is because all of the evidence that we have positioned and we have put up there, this is not a conjecture. What we got from Raul overseas has bona fide information that ties back to the CIA and the FBI, who tried really, really hard to get him to flip for money. And then they put him in jail in Romania because he wouldn't do it. We have all of his pay stubs for working for Fox IT, which is a known CIA business. He worked for him. He was a friend of the FBI for over a decade. You look at what's happened in Arizona, in Florida, in Texas. It doesn't matter what country or state we're talking about in the United States. And then you have the whistleblowers from Venezuela and other places that have come forward and said, look, we stole elections from dozens of countries around the world. And the thing that's right in the middle is this thing called the Central Intelligence Agency and other things that are tied to it. And I look at it and I go, man, what are we fighting for? Who are we fighting for? I'm fighting right side by side with President Trump, but who else can I trust? And I know what you guys are thinking. I just want some relief. Every time President Trump got into office and everybody's like, now we'll get some relief. But you didn't. You didn't, because they had someone inside of the Fed that said, hey, listen, even though interest rates are going to come down, we're not going to let it affect the market, because we're not going to buy back bonds that allow for interest rates to get back down to the 2, 3, 3.5%, 4% rate. So no matter what President Trump does, they have got an equal reaction that they have on their side that takes away your ability to have your own sovereignty in your own community. You are a hostage. You are a slave. And if what I'm saying is not accurate, let's just go to Virginia. They just captured it in Virginia. They're in office in Virginia. They want to take away your ability. This is just in Virginia. This is just in Virginia. They want to take away your ability to hand count paper ballots in person, because it will destroy both sides of the aisle. The establishment will go away overnight. Special interests and lobbyist groups will literally become ineffective. Because if we listen first to who is in our community and then we lead together, you cannot go in the direction we're going in as a country. It is impossible. You eliminate food deserts, opportunity deserts, and education deserts, and we start catering to the needs of the people that are Americans. I promise you, we have way more tax dollars that are available that would actually solve these problems. Why do I know that? Because we're giving these dollars right now to foreigners. What's happening with Somalis up in Minneapolis is a microcosm of what is happening across the country. You're talking about trillions of dollars across the country. You are an institutional slave. The only people that aren't would be the haves, of which, by the way, over 40% of those are these Jewish, faithless, godless atheists. Those aren't Jews, by the way. Which, by the way, I mean, I could put some more stuff up. Everybody's like, "Oh, you're anti-Semitic." If the truth is so offensive that you think that this is about someone that believes in God that happens to be Jewish, I got to tell you, there's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with me. And the more I go back and read the Bible and read about who I should be aligned with, I should be aligned with my Christian brothers and sisters. Period. End stop. It doesn't mean that I can't recognize the Abrahamic faith, and I can't say, okay, let's have a conversation with sensible Jewish people. But the capturing that we have in the United States is by really evil, evil people. And that capturing just has pushed itself to other countries. Here's a post with these same people inside of Virginia. By the way, this is the same thing that's happened in Colorado. We were just ahead of it because this was the home for Dominion voting systems. Democrats in Virginia have introduced a bill to eliminate mandatory minimum sentencing for rape, manslaughter, assault on law enforcement officer, possession and distribution of child pornography, and all repeat violent felonies. Do you know who is suffering right now? White people. White people in this country are being ostracized from their own nation. It's like South Africa. But it's worse because these faithless, godless atheists are now trying to convince you that they're actually not white. So they're special. And white people in the middle of this then are stuck in this idea of, do I just go along to get along? Well, then you have the whole idea that you have to just, if you don't support Israel, biblically, you can't be blessed by God. But that's not actually in the Bible. It doesn't say that at all. And I had this argument with my friend who's a Christian, and he was a pastor. And I was like, show it to me. And my God, he was a pastor for 20 years. And we sat down, and he said, let me Google it. And I was like, are you talking about Genesis 11? Third Genesis? Or what are you talking about here? Talking about Jeremiah? I mean, tell me what scripture you're talking about, and then let's go back and read the entire chapter, not just a small subsect, but this entire population of where we are right now. We believe that we're doing the right thing. And I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm not racist. I'm not homophobic. I'm none of the dog whistle bullshit they want to put out there. I'm a guy that cares deeply about my community. And the fact is, we have not taken 1 minute to figure out what the people want. We don't even ask them. Because I'm going to ask you a question. Is this the biggest issue you have if you're in Virginia? Is the biggest issue giving entitlements and get out of jail free cards for people that rape and victimize our community? Is that the biggest issue for you? I mean, you still have property tax that is through the roof in Virginia. Every place is a tollway. The police can just they can pull you over for driving 5 over. It's $150. It is not a joke. It is draconian. You have flock cameras on every corner. Criminals still get away with stuff. You want to know why? Not because they don't have the ability to catch them given the what they have, but because they don't want to catch those people. They want to catch good people that make mistakes. The net is not meant for violent criminals. Those people are allowed out on the street, and then we have to tolerate them. But I don't want to tolerate them anymore. Do you? Does anybody here want to tolerate them? And if that's not enough, we have this. Every Virginia Democrat just voted in lockstep to redraw a state. Kamala won by 6 to a 10 Democrat, 1 Republican map. So Republicans in Indiana who refused to do this in a state, President Trump won by 20 because he was too mean to them. In this state, they rewrite it so they can basically hold the people of Virginia hostage. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to say it again. We are at war. We're not in a soft war. We're not in a warm war. We are at war. And that foreigner got on there and said that he is signaling to the 10%, I want to eat the good people in this country. I want to eat them and destroy you. Are you ready to be destroyed? And President Trump, are you ready to do what is necessary given all the things that I could lay out here for you? It's not just about Tina Peters. It's about all the good people who have been standing up for the last 5 years. We deserve to rip the Band-Aid off and get to a place where we can have national elections, removal of judges, arrest by the tens of thousands, tried by a military tribunal, and then hanged for treason, sedition, stealing the very sovereignty of our nation. And we're watching it happen while they play footsie in Congress. While we sit here and try to debate what leader wants someone else in a popularity contest, and you got a fool of a guy who sends all of his pre-questions up front and does this dog and pony of trying to take a gun out of somebody's hand as a party favor while not getting into debates. That's the guy that the radical left and the Republicans are trying to push up the ladder in Colorado. We're in trouble. We are in real trouble. Tell me we're not. But let me just tell you something else. This fraud ring that we have in Minnesota, it's gotten much worse. Much worse. Ilhan Omar. Now the House is investigating, but just so you know, the House is not going to investigate itself. So don't think that this is just another dog and pony show. That's not blackpilling. That's being honest over the fact that the last year, Pam Bondi has done nothing. She stands right in the middle with the haves, and she doesn't give a shit about you. Black, white, green, yellow, purple, gay, straight. I don't actually care if you got three wheels and a kickstand and you walk around with a lip. I don't care. She is not going to do shit. Because the system isn't designed for the haves to hold haves accountable. It's designed to hold you, the slave, accountable and to take more meat off the bone. Play it.
Woman Ilhan Omar's net worth went up nearly $30 million. The question is how? Here's what we know. Omar's husband, a former political consultant, owns a venture capital firm based in Washington, D.C. and a winery in California. Take a look at these numbers. In 2023, Omar disclosed a maximum of $50,000 in assets at the winery. The next year, Dana, that number increased to $5 million. Meanwhile, her husband's company, Rose Lake Capital, reported a maximum of $1,000 in assets in 2023. The next year, it was $25 million. Despite that, Omar denied being a millionaire earlier this year, posting on X, quote, "I barely have thousands, let alone millions." House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer tells Fox News an investigation is underway, writing, quote, "The committee is working on addressing ethics concerns regarding Representative Omar and her spouse, and we hope to have an update soon." But Omar says she's being targeted.
Ever since I've gotten to Congress, they have been doing these sort of weird ethics investigations. None of them have yielded anything because I have been as transparent as I can be.
Of course, others see it differently. Elon Musk says Omar committed fraud, while President Donald Trump posted on Truth Social, quote, "She should be in jail or even a worse punishment, sent back to Somalia." Omar authored the Meals Act in 2020, which loosened oversight on food programs during COVID. Federal prosecutors say one of those programs, Feeding Our Future, stole $250 million through fake meal sites. We did reach out to Omar as part of this story, but so far we have not heard back, Dana.
Okay, Nate Boy.
Okay, so it's really important you understand this. Here's Andy on the Somali fraud, and President Trump put this on his Truth Social. Let's go ahead and play it.
You arrested 92 Somalis. You arrested 92 random fucking people that have an IQ of fucking 60, bro. Okay? You're gonna tell me that these Somalis who have an average IQ of 68 somehow came up with this fucking plan to defraud the government? That's interesting, because do you think they also came up with the plan to donate half of the money that they defraud the government out to Act Blue? Like they come up with that plan too?
Right. Well, you tell me. Is that even real? Do you think it's real? This is happening in Somalia. It's the last video that I put up, guys, if you can actually put that up. This is a video in Somalia, or excuse me, in Minneapolis, of a random person on the street who's driving their car, gets surrounded by a mob because they suspect that the person is a conservative. Let's go ahead and play it.
That's him! That's him! Is that him? Is that him? Yes! Open the door! Oh my God. Drive! Oh my God. Just drive! Stop! Wait, let them go! Let them go! Hey, pull over! Hey, leave it! Get out of here! Leave it up! Get out of here! No! Y'all just let him leave. It's not worth it. Hey! Sir! We don't know him. Stop it. Let him out. Let him out.
This is normal behavior. So in Virginia, they want to let rapists out on the street. They want to let people that commit crimes against police officers go. People that commit multiple felonies get out on the street. Meanwhile, Tina Peters gets 9.5 years in jail. Children disappear every day. And all of our candidates and all the people that are out there that are talking heads are saying that they're going to stop the trafficking of women and children. That's like the new dog whistle. It's almost like if you go to Facebook and you see a donor thing at the very top of somebody's profile, you know that they're actually signaling that they're either a bot account or that they're directly tied to, directly tied to bad people. But that's what we're dealing with right now. That's a real thing that I just talked about. And if we could put this up, this is on Nick Sorter's deal. Can we put that up? One, it should be 2 above that. This is President Trump goes after Don Lemon because if you didn't hear about it this weekend, super important. And by the way, I'm going to hand over, in 2 minutes, I'm going to hand over the rest of the show to Patrick. He's going to take over. I've got to go. I'm going to be getting on a airplane. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on this, though. Let me read some of your thoughts. So President Trump goes after Don Lemon. He's going to be charged. Let's go ahead and play that video, shall we?
Institutions from where they came. That's all they want to do. They're patriots, and they have to be abused by guys like Don Lemon, who's a loser, lightweight. I saw him the way he walked in that church. It was terrible. I have such respect for that pastor. He was so calm. He was so nice. He was just accosted. What they did in that church was horrible yesterday. Look at it. 20.
I mean, this is a real thing. This is what we are facing everywhere. And here's Elon Musk. Man. Did I have it or no? Did I not have it? Let me see if I can find it. Oh. So let me bring this back, and then Patrick, you got to come in here. We'll go to a commercial, and then I'll switch over to Patrick so he can finish up with you. I just want to ask everyone that's listening a simple question. When you see the gotcha moments on both sides of the aisle, or you see the videos where they're like, Tina Peters was attacked, by the way. She was attacked. You can see how the woman reached in there and just tried to do something to Tina, probably pulled her hair or punched her. I haven't talked to Tina yet, but Jared did. And so she fought back. She's like, get away from me. And it happens to be a person that's 40 years younger than she is. But as you see all of that stuff, and you look at all the chaos happening in the world, does anybody slow down to actually talk about the problems? Anyone? Can anybody talk about the problems? Any? President Trump does. He's like, I want to get rid of proper income tax. Tell me that's not a big issue for you. You get $5,000 and you take home less than half of it. You take home $2,300. You take home $1,900. And you're like, I don't understand why I don't have any money. I make 60 grand a year. I make 100 grand a year. I make 150 grand a year. But you look at what you have. By the way, the government doesn't pay any of this. The healthcare system, the haves don't have to worry about healthcare coverages. The small businesses, the foundation of our society, those people are the ones that actually have to pay a majority of the costs. So you have somebody that makes $100,000 a year. They took home let's say $120,000. Let's make it easy. Your income tax is right off the bat 30%. So you made 10, now you make 7. Oh, then you got state tax, you got entitlements, you got FICA, that's 7.5%. So we add all that stuff up together, and now let's say we have 40%. You have $6 grand left. You have to put some money in your 401k, so you put 5% in there, 5%. So you take off Another $500, now you're $5,500. You were at 10 grand at the beginning of the month. You're at $5,500. Oh, now you got to pay for your health care. That's another $700 to $800. If you have a family, it's over $1,000. Let's say it's $1,000. You're at $4,500. Your property taxes on your home, you have to pay every month. The average in Colorado is about $600 a month. It's roughly $6 grand. It is 28%, 26%. No, let me look it up real quick. Just want to make sure I get this number right. 23% of the average mortgage or rent payment is taxes. So if you pay $2,000 for roughly $500, it goes towards taxes. So let's just take that number off the bat. You have $500 more. You're at $4,500. Now you're at $4 grand. You haven't paid your car payment. You haven't invested any extra dollars. You haven't gone on vacation. You haven't done anything else. You literally have 60% less. And if you go to the pump, you got to pay a gas tax. If you go to the grocery store, you got to pay a sales tax. You see what's happening here? If you have a plates on your car and the car is newer than a 2021, you're guaranteed to pay a minimum of $800. And that doesn't account for tollways. It doesn't account for the entitlements for schools. It doesn't account for the extra mill levies that they put in different places, or the ownership tax they have on businesses. I mean, none of that is even taken into account. Is your biggest problem letting criminals out on the street? I mean, I would argue that we don't even talk about the problems. And the reason being is because you were never meant to have a seat at the table. That's why in 2004, when Clinton Curtis actually went in front of Congress and said, I was told to build a system that could defraud the American voter, and oh, by the way, it's based out of Florida, and the person that made him do it, or asked him to do it, is a congressman, Congressman Feely, who, by the way, was a Republican. And in 2005, Smartmatic comes into the United States, buys Sequoia voting system, so 17 states and the District of Columbia, goes to Chicago to a municipal election. It turns into a disaster. CFIUS has to get involved. Eric Coomer now works for it, rewrites the algorithm, puts all this stuff in place, and then gets forced by the federal government to sell it. So it's handed over to the managers, wink, wink, that run Sequoia voting systems. But Smartmatic gets to retain all the intellectual property. And everyone forgets about this stuff. I would venture to say that while we talk about that, I'm going to play this video. This is Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama speaking about what's important. And again, it's a microcosm of influencers, and I'll tell you what I wrote afterwards. And if you're black, by the way, I'm sorry. Because we elected a black president, and you couldn't get that done without white people. Not liberal, Jewish, faithless, godless zealots. You couldn't have gotten that done without white people. Play it.
Of someone whose fashion that I like, and I know that they're a person of color, I try to make it a point. But the clothes have to be available. You know, I think we can all do some work to think about that balance in our wardrobes. You know, what does our closet look like, and who's in it? Mm-hmm. Who are we supporting in it? Right. You know, and I think if you have the money to buy Chanel, mm-hmm. then you have the money to buy everybody. Right. And so let us be mindful, I think would be my advice. Yeah.
They don't represent black people. You tell me what part of what Michelle Obama said represents black people. You think black people are out there trying to figure out if they're buying Chanel or fake Chanel? Let's be honest, they're not. So here's what I said, and frankly, everybody's got mad at me. But then they called me. A couple of people called me when I put it up. And I said, listen, I'm going on the podcast. Let's talk about this later. So here's what I wrote. This is the problem with politicians, talking heads, influencers. They are all liars. Here, Big Mike tells us that you should not buy from white people. The public does not care about who makes the clothes, what color they are, even if the country they come from. Why? Because they're too concerned with the massive number of issues that never get heard. High taxes, tollways, crippling regulations, poor education, food and opportunity deserts. Tell me that's not what you actually care about. for your kids. They can have a better life and an education, but you can't. Sorry, I didn't write that there. While Michelle Obama virtue signals about Chanel, black babies are aborted at a rate of 3 to 1. 3 to 1 ratio. Ask any black woman why, overwhelming majority will tell you she can't afford to raise a child. Yet foreigners are given tens of millions in a state of Colorado for free health care, entitlements, and free education. Just free child care is over $40 million a year in the state of Colorado for low IQ Somalis and Arabs. True story. Muslims, foreigners. $40 million. Now look, I got Arab friends. They're not on the tolls. They're not on the doles. They're not making it so that your $10,000 a month is less than $4,000 before you pay your mortgage. They're not making it so that you have to go through and you have to budget over and over and over again. They're not having to go through any of that. These are people that came here and did the Ilhan Omar. This is another example of the betrayal of black people by opportunists and selfish, evil people carrying water for a narrative that genocides American black people. They will import low IQ Somalis who sell black people from our nation genocide. So while selling black people from our nation, genocide is a right, and a school to prison pipeline designed to make them a useful idiot for people like this. Both political parties are morally bankrupt and left the American people behind a long time ago. Is this the pressing issue you think about while the CIA and the rotted, crooked apparatus of government make you their slave? Asking for a friend. It's fundamentally, it has to change. Listen, first, lead together, then pray. The grift and criminality of the Colorado government is overwhelming. We must dismantle it and get back to of, for, and by the people. Tell me what I just said that should be offensive to any Republican, Democrat, or Independent. Tell me. While Americans come home and embrace the new suck, while opportunists and special interests and lobbyists, they do this thing. They lead by guilt and they create an idea of what you really want. And they're like, no, we know you don't, you really want tollways. You really want pride flags on every wall. These are things you want. You want all these things. You want us to embrace the 1% to 3% while we ignore the 97%. We want the haves not to be arrested. You know what? It's complicated. Getting a case across the finish line, it takes time. We want lawfare. We want election systems that are not transparent. These are all things we want, right? Said no one ever. And this is why they don't like me. Republicans don't like me. Democrats don't like me. Independents don't like me. Shit, I get into conversations with influencers all the time. And someone will be like, Joe, stop saying the quiet part out loud. You are not making yourself popular. I'm not trying to. I'm trying to give my children and your children an opportunity to have something. I miss out on selling my company for a shit ton of money. I get sued by a piece of trash and said that I wasn't on an Antifa call. And I'm thinking to myself, what in the hell would you have to be on? Where the hell did I find the guy? Where did I find him? Up elk hunting 3 days after the election. Where did I find him? The absurdity of what we deal with collectively, not just what I deal with, but what you deal with, allows you to be a victim. They want you to be a victim. I don't want you to be a victim. I want you to start thinking for yourself, building a fraternity, so that 10% of the revolutionaries that want to take from you what's not theirs, while they put criminals back on the street, those are the people that we need to target, and we need to make sure that we eat them before they eat us. And this is why growing up poor, I can recognize who has grown up poor and who really are the hunters and who isn't. And you can say whatever you want about me coming from poor stock. I was able to make something out of myself, scraping and clawing all the way to the top, while maintaining my intelligence. But they're replacing you. They're replacing black people, brown people. I mean, look, they crack the jokes and say, oh yeah, we're trying to throw out Americans. These aren't Americans. They're illegals. They're foreigners that are taking from you what was never theirs to take. And they have made you a slave. They have taken advantage of your goodwill. And it's got to stop. So Patrick, you're in the chair, brother. I'm going to take a commercial break. I got to go. But Patrick will pray you out. Patrick, you better pray him out. Better pray him out. I love having Patrick on because he can continue the fire. And when it comes to talking about things that have to be bold and the things that we have to deal with, not just in Colorado, but around the country, you've got to become the ambassadors of truth. It's not just about me. As a matter of fact, it has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with you. So we'll take a quick commercial break. When we come back, Patrick's got a bunch of stuff to talk to you about as well. But I hope that gave you a good idea of where I see us currently. And, I think I have great hope in what President Trump's going to do, and it's going to happen any day now. Things are about to happen. But he's not going to be able to do it without you. You got people that are in Minnesota doing really bad things. We got to take our country back. And we got to take it back by any and all means necessary, because the rhetoric of the radical left and the sickos that are over there, they're not backing down, and neither should we. All right. God bless you all. Enjoy Patrick. He's got a lot to go over with you. He's got some really cool stuff to talk to you about, and I'll see you on the other side.
In every thread, in every stitch, Honor-Bound USA weaves the fabric of the American spirit. It's not just apparel, it's a testament to God, family, and country. At Honor-Bound USA, we're a family of patriots who put our faith, family, and America first. When you visit our website, you'll find a line of products that embody our commitment to pray, stand, speak, and act.
As the official site for the Untamed podcast, all of our products proclaim speaking the truth with courage.
We also have the powerful documentary from Professor David Clements, Let My People Go. Identify yourself as one of the few who are willing to stand for what they believe in. Join the Honor-Bound USA family today. Wear it as a badge of honor, commitment to the values that shape us, and a pledge to the bright future we will build together. Because when you're honor-bound, you're not just wearing a brand, you're embodying a lifestyle.
Hi, I'm Joe, Supreme Leader of DCF Guns. What is DCF Guns, you ask? We're the best damn gun store and range in the universe. Do we have guns? We have all the guns. We got small guns, we got big guns. We even have beastly guns. We offer all types of training, and we have 5 ranges across our 3 locations. I'm a good shot. And of course, we have all types of ammo. We even have flamethrowers! Woo! We offer incredible membership opportunities, and members save even more on guns, ammo, and accessories. Military, both active and retired, and first responders get up to 40% off memberships. Come join the DCF family today, where we keep the range hot and the deals hotter. It's hot.
Hey everyone, I'm back. It was great, Joe getting in on that. Man was spitting fire today. Fire with a lot of facts and truth behind it. Makes you think, right? We are in a very pivotal point in our nation's history. And I think we feel it every day. And the pressure keeps mounting. And before I get going, I did see in the comments yesterday, I think it was Jeff. Jeff is a funny guy in there. He's like, oh, where'd you go, Mardi Gras? I think it was Jeff. If it wasn't Jeff, I apologize, but I think it was. I did not go to Mardi Gras. These are beads my boy makes me. And he reminds me to take them with me to work every day. So not only do I take them with me to work, I wear them. You know, it's important to me. It's important for me to know that his dad loves him. Okay, in my life, I really didn't have a dad growing up. Absentee father, single mom, right? So like, he's my boy. And like every hug I give him is like a hug I never got when I was growing up. And I do anything to make that kid happy. I don't try and spoil him, but boy, Boy, oh boy, that kid. Oh man. Sorry, I just love that kid so much. And that's the story behind the beads. It's just made by my 3-year-old, soon to be 4, who's going on 15. But yeah, I wear these just because he wants me to. Simple. And I enjoy wearing them. So that's where the beads are from. Okay. So where are we going? What are we doing? And I ask myself that a lot. I ask myself that question pretty much every day. And it's important to me because my boy, right? Like it's up to our generation, my generation, the ones that have children now. Okay, my in-laws, great people, Jim and Judy, great people, love them. But they're grandparents, they're retired, they're set up, they're good, right? So like they're not really in the fight. They support what I'm doing, but they're not really in the fight, going out in the fight. You know what I'm saying? The fight has to come from those that are in this generation now, the ones that have the kids coming up, I believe. We're the ones that have to take the reins and get up in there. You can't be nice anymore. You can't just play nice. You can't just, as Joe was saying, go along to get along. Like that doesn't work, right? That was used in the church against Christians for a long time, exploiting our good nature of love and forgiveness and empathy, right? And then I got a great lesson on where that word empathy came from yesterday, right? Just an attack on the language, right? Exploited by the left, right? They're masters of dissecting language and switching words and verbiage around to get what they want in the moment that they need it. They're very good at doing that. And they caught a lot of us off guard when the blitz were on the way right before COVID, and then definitely during COVID, the blitz with the language and all that within the school systems caught a lot of people off guard, and people didn't want to be seen. Families, right? Moms, dads did not want to be seen as, oh, I am inclusive. I believe this is all right, and I believe that, right? No, right? So like they used the language to get what they wanted, and they have footholds everywhere. And Joe went through it, what's going on in Virginia. Virginia is going to be a lost state, guaranteed. They're in there. They control the state house, they control the governorship, they control the AG spot, and look how quick they're moving within, I think, 72, 48 hours of having all those branches of Virginia government under their control, right? The left moves. The left moves. They don't give two craps if they hurt people's feelings or offend people because they just want to win. And I've been saying this, right? Everyone, I think, is pretty much aware of this. The left plays to win. The right plays to appease. And Trump needs to drop the hammer. He needs to drop the hammer because we need direction. Because if we don't get direction from the top, if he doesn't take care of the election integrity issues in this country, nothing will change. The left will wholeheartedly sweep into power during the midterms, come over the top, take the presidency, and then if you thought 2020 was fun, wait until you get there and just wait, right? But they're already cueing you. They're already dropping the little tidbits. They're dropping the breadcrumbs. They're letting you know what's coming. Okay? I want to play this clip for you. King Jeffries, right? He's out there giving interviews. He's letting everyone know what is coming when the left comes back. Let's play it.
So there's two things to keep in mind here. First of all, there's accountability for the corruption and the chaos that Donald Trump has unleashed on the American people from the very beginning of his presidency on January 20th that should be tied directly to the Supreme Court and the 6 right-wing justices who basically gave Donald Trump, without justification, blanket immunity. And he's been out of control ever since. So that's problem number one. Problem number two, of course, is the fact that there are so many different corrupt sycophants within the Trump administration, including but not limited to within the Department of Justice. Now, these people don't have immunity. And the reality is the statute of limitations is 5 years, and there will be accountability with the next administration, if not before, when Democrats take back control of the House of Representatives.
What's he saying there? What's Obama wannabe 2.0 saying there? You know, I know. He's telling you, we're going to arrest, indict, and go after everybody. And the funny part is, the corruption within the Trump administration. What the hell went on? What is going on? What happened under the Biden administration? What is going on in Minneapolis that's trying to get cleaned up right now? Lord knows in California what the hell that looks like. So let's not talk about corruption of this administration, right? Like, get out of here. Long story short is, these chumps, once they come back, they're coming back with the vengeance. And who's going to pay the price? Your average white folk in the street. That's the reality, right? You got Mamdani trying to push through racial policies in New York City, and people are like, oh, you can't do that. You can't do. You want to bet these courts are so corrupt and so stacked with ideological goons that these will uphold and will be pushed through for a long time. And then what does it take to actually fight a racist policy? A lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of resources, and hopefully a uncorrupted court system. Good luck. Good luck. Because whatever they want, they get one way or the other. They get it through executive order, they get it through the legislature, or they just ignore whatever people tell them. They just keep doing whatever the hell they want to do and just carry about the business. Right? So they're coming for us. 100%. They come for those that support Trump. They come for those that are supporting ICE. I will not be surprised when ICE agents are arrested and charged when the next regime comes into power. Would not be surprised whatsoever. And they'll be charged in these blue cities and blue states because we are not a unified country anymore. Our title says United States of America, but we are far from that. What is one thing that unifies us? What is one thing that unifies the American people? Is there anything that unifies the American people anymore? You know, when I was growing up, like universally, everyone loved America. The kids loved America. Everyone thought America was the greatest country there was, right? Flags in the classroom everywhere. People loved America. How is that different? How did we get to where we are today? Because the ideological bullshit got implanted in the school systems that have in the 70s and 80s, and now here we are. They have successfully dissected us from within. And they are going to make us hurt. So we need this country to go back to where it was. We need to beat this leftist nonsense back into the hole and destroy it and stomp it out wherever it came from. George Soros, sing them, right? There's money trails here. And that's the other thing. There are money trails that wholeheartedly link people to these. Sing them, Soros, DSA, right? These aren't just random names. They are connected. Okay, we're working on a special with B. This thing takes a while to put together, people. If you've been watching the special with B, we appreciate it. It just takes a while getting our schedules lined up and the logistics, but it is all there. How come these clowns are not in cuffs? Because they're not meant to be in cuffs. The have and have-nots. And if the haves are never held accountable, the have-nots, you and I, are going to get crushed. And then eventually the haves will fight each other, but we'll be long gone by then. We'll be long gone by then. But ICE agents are going to get charged. I'm waiting for this indictment to come down from Minneapolis with the ICE agent. They're looking at charging him at the state level. And I guarantee 100% they will. I will be surprised if they don't. I would be surprised if they don't charge this ICE agent in Minneapolis. I don't agree with it. This dude should not be charged with a crime. He should not be charged with any type of murder, assault, anything, nothing. But he'll get charged. They'll make a spectacle of it. Guarantee it, because that's what the left does. You got to throw meat to the base to appease the base. That's what they do. He will be the sacrificial lamb. And then that's going to create another layer of tension amongst all this. Okay? ICE agents are doing the work that needs to be done because the administration prior allowed this country to be flooded by criminal illegal aliens. Now, did every illegal immigrant that came over was a criminal? No. Were a vast majority of them that came over? Yes, they were. And then when they came over, did some of them reoffend? Yes, they did. And now, is it time for us to get them out? Yes, it is. Now, is state and local authorities cooperating with federal officials to make sure that these dangerous criminal illegal aliens that committed violent offenses are removed from this country? No, they're not. Why? Because it's part of their plan. They need as many shock troops on the ground as possible to instill havoc and chaos on the American people for as long as possible because they're looking to provoke a civil war. on their end. They want to ratchet up the temperature as much as possible, right? Renee Good getting shot is just the beginning. It's the appetizer. They want way more of that. Okay, I don't know if you guys checked it out or not or saw, but I believe there was two, I think it was 2 ICE agents, maybe 2 Seattle police officers were shot in downtown Seattle the other evening, right? Blue city, blue states, law enforcement's being targeted. Rhetoric's getting ratcheted up by the left, of course. Okay, it's a powder keg. It's a powder keg. It's a powder keg. It's a powder keg. It keeps building. It keeps building. Another incident happens here. Another incident happens there. Right? It's all going on. And then you still have stuff happening within schools. President Trump signs executive order outlawing DEI in colleges, universities, education, this, that, and the other thing, right? Yeah, okay. It's everywhere. Type in any public school system in the country, type in equity department, and I guarantee you get a contact and phone number and someone's still working in that office. How is that remotely possible? If DEI is not supposed to be occurring because executive orders, but yet there are school districts and universities throughout the state and the country that are still following DEI and implementing equity as part of their daily go-arounds at schools, how come their financial funds have not been pulled? Because we play nice. Because we don't play to win the game. Because when Democrats enact EOs, and if Republican governors or Republican cities or whatever don't follow that federal EO, they pick up the phone and say, oh yeah, you must have this as a quota for your hiring practices. Oh, you do on merit? Yeah, not anymore. All right, you're gonna have to do it on equity. Oh, I see. You want merit-based. Yeah, well, guess what? Equity is going to rule. And now if you don't hire people based on these guidelines on how many percentages of this, and this demographic and this of sex population needs to be hired, then we're going to pull your federal funding. Understood? Understood. Great. Boom. And that's how they deal with it. And that's why the Republicans always give them what they want. That's why they always get what they want, because they don't give a shit. They will call, say, screw you, I'll take your money. You don't like it? Eat me. We should be doing the same thing, but we don't. We don't. How many school districts in the state of Colorado still have an equity department, President Trump? Every single one of them. Aurora Public Schools, Denver Public Schools, Boulder Public Schools, Cherry Creek Public Schools definitely does, right? So, like, how do these equity departments still exist, paying these equity officials 6-figure salaries off of the taxpayer's dime that it shouldn't be going to? It should be actually going back into the schools to help kids learn how to read and write. Because if you didn't check out yesterday's episode, we covered yesterday, 56% of this population grades 3 through 8 in the state of Colorado do not read at grade level. 56%. But you make sure you have funding for equity departments in every state throughout the district that eat up $4, $5, $6, $7, $8, $10 million. You're telling me you cannot increase literacy rates amongst 3rd through 8th graders between $5 and $10 million in per district? You're out of your mind. 100% you could, but you don't do it. Why? Because it's part of the grift. It's part of working in dividing out kids. Right? Like I said earlier, there is no unifying thread in America anymore. Everything is divisive. Everyone is in their own corner. If you say America is the greatest country in the world, you're going to get fired from your job. True story. That's what the left is going to do to us. I lived it, everyone. I'm still living it. Share this with your friends. Share this with anybody. I'll debate any liberal that ever wants to come on this show. Drop me an email, Patrick@Untamed.Nation. We'll set it up. I'll be nice, respectful, but I will shred you when it comes down to policy. Why? Because liberal policies make absolutely zero logical sense. They're based on emotion and stupidity. End of story. And that's what's going to be ruling us if Trump doesn't take care of the garbage of the electoral system. Period. Period. I want to play this for you. Speaking of DEI in public education, take a look at Kansas University. Kansas University, in the heartland of America, have more cows than people. Take a look at what KU's doing.
Angry white male studies is addressing topics right out of our own headlines. New at 6, our Kelly Taylor explains what students think about the topic.
Some students thought it was a joke when they saw angry white male studies in the course catalog, and others weren't surprised at all. Angry white male studies is already causing a stir. It's been the talk of social media.
Everyone's just like reposting it and like asking if it's a joke or not. Like it's just been on like all the Snapchat stories, so it's been like big news today.
The class charts the rise of the angry white male in America and Britain since the 1905s, according to the course description. Students will explore the deeper sources of white man anger and evaluate recent manifestations of it. We wanted to know why the college is offering the course and what they'll be covering, but no word back from the professor or KU yet. But some students aren't surprised by the new course.
We have a lot of different classes kind of like relating to this that you wouldn't normally think would be at like on college campuses.
Others couldn't really put into words what they thought about it, but they did think it could serve a purpose.
It could be a beneficial study, but at the same time, there are other studies that could get to the same root.
I think it'd be interesting, but I don't really know why we have it exactly.
Yeah. Now, change white with any other demographic in that course description and tell me that's not racist. Angry black male studies, angry brown male studies, angry Asian male studies, right? Angry white male studies. Gotcha. Well, let's take a look at this post. Angry white male studies. Well, what job does that actually prepare you for? Dr. Matthew Walicki put this up. And you take a look, if you can give a little scroll on that, Damon, it's from the 2025-26 academic catalog at the University of Kansas. Search results for Humanities 365, Angry White Male Studies. This course charts the rise of the angry white male in America and Britain since the 1950s, exploring the deeper sources of this emotional state while evaluating recent manifestations of male anger. Employing interdisciplinary perspectives, this course examines how both dominant and subordinate masculinities are represented and experienced in cultures undergoing periods of rapid change connected to modernity, as well as to rights-based movements of women, people of color, homosexuals, and trans individualisms. So basically, if you're a white Christian male, everything you ever believed for the longest time is hitting you in the face saying you're wrong and you have no right to be upset or mad about any of it. That's the long story short on that. That's exactly what that means. So yeah, white males are frustrated in this country. Why? Because we pay majority of taxes. Take a look at the statistics. White males pay the majority of taxes in this country. But yet at the same time, we're told we are oppressive, we are racists, we are non-inclusive, and give more shit to other people that say I'm a racist. It makes a hell of a lot of sense. No, it's called logic. And eventually when you keep pushing people and pushing people and pushing people, people are going to get mad. People are going to get angry. People are going to get frustrated, right? So yeah, I'm angry. I'm frustrated. Why? Because equity came from me and took my job and my livelihood and uprooted my family for no good reason. That's going to happen to hundreds of thousands, if not millions more, if Trump doesn't get this under control and the Dems sweep back into power in the midterms and then the presidency. It is going to be 100 times worse, okay? And then you're really going to see some angry white males, okay? Because everyone's going to start getting hit with it. It is the reality. We are at war, and it's wars on every level, right? We're at a societal war, we're at a spiritual war, we're in a cultural war, and then you got the war of or on white people on top of that, right? So like there are all these things going on, and it's legitimately a thing that's happening, right? Like white European descendants and their belief systems and their principles are just being told, you're part of the problem, you're systemic racist, you're oppressors, and everything you or your ancestors ever built over the course of time is trash. Maybe. But we created indoor plumbing. The Europeans started the running water system, the aqueducts. Those were the Europeans. I know they weren't on the western side, a little more towards the eastern side of Europe, but still. So yeah, you know, if you don't like taking a dump and flushing it when you don't have to go outside, man, that's pretty important. That's one of my favorite. I'm not gonna lie, man. Living in Colorado, that's one of my favorite things is going to the bathroom inside, man. I'm taking a warm shower. You know, just some of the minor benefits white Europeans brought to modern society. But you know, we know good. We know good. But you know, this equity stuff just keeps the divisiveness amongst Americans, right? And I'll go back. Like, what unifies us? Our language doesn't anymore. Okay, English is a second language in some cities. You come here, you don't have to learn English. Actually, we make sure we provide translated services for anyone that comes here. Any language, we make sure we find it. We make sure we get it to them because we want to make sure we're not discriminating against them. But we also, at the same time, by doing that, we don't actually force them or make them need to learn English, part of the assimilation process. Okay, you can't just come to a country and not assimilate. Okay, you can come into a country and take all the shit you want from somebody, but eventually someone's gonna get tired of it. And what benefit are you bringing to this country? Are you working? No. Are you learning English? No. Oh, you're having kids. That's great. Are they going to school? They are. Okay. Are you paying taxes? No. Okay. Are you getting government assistance? Yeah. Right. So all this stuff keeps adding up and up and up. And no wonder our dollars are worth nothing. I wonder how much, I really truly wonder how much money could be saved if illegal immigration were taken out of the public education system. Because I saw something a couple of weeks ago that I believe it's the North Carolina public schools, they had around like 10,000 kids that didn't show up. Can you imagine how big that number is and then how much money that is, right? Like per state, maybe 7,000 to 10,000 per kid. That's a lot of money that's going to kids that are not part of or accounted for to be in that school system. So what does that do? That stretches the resources out. And then Johnny, who's struggling in class, may not get all the necessary supports they need because you have boom, boom, boom. You got 5 or 6 other different kids, all from different countries, all with different language barriers, all with different learning disabilities that need their resources. And they need their individual education plan, IEP, right? They need that stuff. So those resources go there. You stretch out the pot. Right? So I just wonder if we actually do like a nationwide audit of the national public school system of exactly how many illegal alien children are in the school system. And yeah, I get it, they're children, right? Yeah, but I'm talking America first at this point. I'm talking America first at this point. Less than 50% of the kids in the state of Colorado can read at grade level. Like, I guarantee that's probably across the national average. Okay, I believe the number's around 100 million functionally literate Americans, right? So like we are falling off a cliff when it comes to reading.
And yeah, well, you got ChatGPT, you got your smartphone, you got AI, you got my video games.
Yeah, real easy to enslave when you're not thinking for yourselves and you can't read or write. Real easy for all this crap to just pile up on you.
All right, I'll do what you want. You want another shot? Okay. Roll up my sleeve. Okay. White people are the worst ever. I need to say that for my government check this month? Okay, we'll stream it on Rumble.
Right, so like this is the society we're building towards with the inability to educate our kids. Not the inability, we can educate our kids. We willfully choose not to educate our kids in school. We willfully decide to put out our money, time, resources to other political activist agendas instead of just actually increasing the literacy of our children. You know, it's quite disgusting. It's quite disgusting. Less than 50% of kids can read, but you know, everyone can have an equity department and the director of equity that makes 6 figures. And plus have a staff under them and a budget, right? All that. And then you hire people to come in, you get a trans speaker to come in for 6 figures, you bring in another, hey, you do equity talks? All right, how much you want? 6 figures? Gotcha, baby. Come on in, do some talks, right? Like that's legitimately what happens. That's legitimately what happens. The grift is the grift. Public school system, facts, the grift is the grift. And then, you know, people aren't getting educated. They're not being taught to think for themselves collectively, right? You fall into this groupthink mentality. And then when you fall into this groupthink mentality, you're really not educated on things. And then what really gets interesting on college is when you get to college, you get people that think they're educated, but they're really not, and they're stupid, and they got a big mouth, and they think they know everything. And then you just get great clips that come. So I want to play this for you. This happened on a college campus. Let's roll C3, Damon.
Why would you say you support ICE?
Yeah, because they would get rid of these rapists and murderers that killed American women.
So are all of the immigrants that come into America rapists and killers?
Nope.
Oh, okay, so
let's get rid of these ones? You agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so you support ICE removing them?
No. I support the condemnation, as you said, of a rapist. But, you know, there are white rapists, there are black rapists, there are
white immigrant rapists as well.
Okay, but again, there are rapists of different colors.
Why does the color matter when it comes to rape?
You just made it about you just made it.
No,
about
you did.
Color. No, you did. You said ICE.
You brought up white rapists.
Okay, because you said that immigrants rape. Right? So white people rape.
I didn't say immigrants rape. I said these immigrants raped.
So those immigrants raped. What about white people that raped?
What about them?
Are there no condemnations for them?
Absolutely. We're condemning rape as a whole, but if these people wouldn't have been able to enter under Biden's open border policies, these women would still be alive today.
Right. So what about the people who are coming to America for a better life because they were experienced similar situations where they came from?
Yeah, they can come here for a better life. I'm all for legal immigration.
Legal immigration. Okay.
So, yeah, college campus. And immediately you see how equity gets thrown right into that conversation. But what about white rapists? Okay. First off, I'm pretty sure we all agree rapists are all automatically should be cuffed up, locked up, and dealt with, right? We all agree on that. But the point is, she's out there holding a sign in support of ICE to deport these criminal illegal aliens who are guilty of rape. That leftist lunatic could not even condemn it. Instead of condemning it, she actually doubled down and said, well, what about the white people that rape, right? So you could see the hatred and hear the hatred already coming out of her mouth, right? And it's because it's it's preloaded in here. Why? Because she has been programmed over and over and over and over again. And she probably had no one strong in her life, no strong male figure, no strong mother figure to kind of deprogram her. They actually probably encouraged that programming. Yeah, F those people. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Right, so probably feeding that narrative that whole life, and then you get to college, and then you get around the other bunch of people that think very much like you. So you feel like you're enlightened, you feel like you're intelligent, you feel like I could take on the world, and then you actually get smacked in the face with just some general questions that you can't even speak your way out of a paper bag. That's the problem with the education system, right there. Because that lady had no clue what the hell she was saying. She should have walked off camera. She should be embarrassed of how that clip plays out. I guarantee today she's tagging up all her friends like, yo, check me out on this interview. I really showed her, right? Because of the desensitization in the head. She does not realize how dumb she actually is. She doesn't realize it. And that's the problem with the left. And then they say that about us. But the problem is when you actually get into debates and you use statistics and you use facts and you don't wordsmith and you actually go right to the heart and break down on an educational, logical basis of communication, of just destroying your ideas because your ideas don't have scientific thought. You aren't backed by logic, because what the left is actually backed by is emotion and irrationality. And that's what it is. They create mass hysteria, and then they make good people back down because good people don't want the confrontation. Good people want to appease and make people feel happy and validated for what they're saying. And that's how the left intimidates the right. Not this guy, though. Not Joe. Not you guys watching. But we need more of us. We need people to wake up. You need to stand firm. You need to shake the tree. Okay? And then, once you get out of college, you should always think for yourself, number one, hey, if you know a youngster that's a liberal, put them in touch with me. I would love to talk with them. Because I was them. I was a teacher. I was in the education system. I would love to get them turned around. Okay? Because they need it. They need to understand the truth. They need to understand the reality. They need to understand where it's going, because they're fighting for what they want now, but in 10 years, when they get what they want, they're the ones that will be getting eaten by the machine that they helped create. And they have no idea because they don't study history. They don't read about it. They have no clue because they're like this. Upload complete, must attack ICE. right? Like, that's what it is with these people. That's what it is with these people. They are so shot, so fried, no ability to think logically until you actually break the matrix. And that's what this next young lady did. I want to play this cut, but this is an American that now realizes that, whoa, Republicans did have a point.
Okay, I'm not going to lie. When the Republicans were saying that illegal immigrants are voting and turning the states blue, I did not believe them. And the reason that I didn't believe them was because I was like, well, you have to have a driver's license, and in order to have a driver's license, you have to have a social security number. And if there were any other government documents that you had to have in order to vote, those also require a social security number, and only American citizens can obtain those. But then I discovered that there are 14 states out of 50 that do not require any type of identification at the polls. For those 14 states, there's an exception where they may be required to show ID. And then in quite a few states also, there are government-issued IDs to non-citizens where they can vote for certain municipalities. And then there are 12 states that require documentation but no photo ID required, so it could literally be something like a utility bill. And that's not counting the 14 I listed earlier. So we're already over 50% of the entire country that does not have proper documentation to vote. And then there are 9 states that request your photo ID but offer alternative ways to vote like an affidavit. There are only 10 states in America that strictly require photo government ID to vote. The Republicans were not wrong. And this was the source I used in case anybody was curious. It's nonpartisan.
Why would so many states have systems designed this way? Just ask yourself that. Why would you not want voter ID at time of voting? You need voter ID to buy a beer. You need voter ID to get on a plane. You don't need voter ID to vote? Actually, no. States say, no, you don't. And actually, I'm going to make it illegal for us to even look at your ID when you vote. And then she went into how, like, people didn't understand, well, how can they vote? Like, how can illegals vote? Because the federal government actually set them up with licenses and social security cards, and different states did it too. Like, it's crazy. It's to make the system chaotic, where you don't know what left or right is, up or down, truth or fact. It's all designed chaos. And what's amazing to me, it shouldn't be this hard. It really shouldn't be this hard. In 2026, well, not even 2025, in 2026, it's more complicated, our election system today, than it was 20, 30 years ago. Why? Because people want the chaos. People want the ability to have the fraud. And we're just stuck. We're just stuck. Well, depending on what state you're in. If you're in a blue state and you're a Republican, you're stuck. Please tell me what blue state went red over the last 10, 15 years. I really don't. What? Florida? Georgia's back and forth. Virginia went red, now it went blue again. Be interested to see what happens in North Carolina next time through. Pennsylvania, who the hell knows what goes in that state? That state is so up and down with what goes on in their election systems. It's crazy. But no one fixes it. No one fixes it. Just let the chaos keep rolling. Status quo, status quo. Yeah, because the end game is the left will gain power, the left will crush us, and we will be the socialist states of America. That's the end game. Right, I saw Mamdani has a community living idea out there, like an apartment complex. I believe all the apartments are roughly like the same size, right? It's communal living, right? So like you really can't have different types of status. Can't do that. But he's talking about how, you know, you'll pay, whatever you make, you pay 30% and you get to live here. So if you make $100,000 a year, you pay $30K a year, you get to have this apartment for a year. If you make nothing, you get to pay nothing and have this apartment for the year. Like, do you see that mentality? I wonder how many 6, 7-figure people actually want to live in communal style living? I'm kind of curious. Because typically the rich people don't. Typically rich people like having their space, having multiple bathrooms, you like to go outside, right? You like to have that luxury because, you know, I worked, I made money. I want my space. I want my freedom. So I'd love to know how Mamdani plans on recruiting 6-7-figure people to donate 30% of their income to live in a less than 1,000-foot square apartment unit. I would love to know how he's going to swing that. But, you know, collectivism, baby. Collectivism. It always works. Always works. We know it. That's why everyone wants to come to this country. Because we didn't practice collectivism. But get used to it, we will. My kid's gonna know about it, dude. It's gonna be crazy. I am so, oh man, he better not know about this. But like, I'm preparing myself mentally for the worst of where we're going, right? But like, people gotta wake up. And Trump, his administration, gotta get in gear. You know, a year ago today, it's 1 year today. It's 1 year today he was sworn in. And I was so optimistic, so optimistic. The hopium was at an all-time high. The hopium was at an all-time high. Like, yeah, baby, we're going to get it done. We're going to get it done. Man, I don't feel that way right now. I really don't. There's no unifying factor amongst us as an American, right? Like, depending what political side you're on, depending what gender you think you are, there's no unifying belief. Like, you can't, is America a great, simple question, is America a great country? You can't get a consensus answer on that in America anymore today. And that's as simplistic as you can come, because that's just a nationalistic feeling on how much you love the country you live in, right? Like, you wouldn't get it, you wouldn't get it. Our borders have been shut down, at least. Illegal immigration has been shut down, but I'm curious, I'm skeptical about the work visas that Trump wants to get through and allow through. I really, like, if we're concerned about illegal immigrants and immigration, right? Like, we need to make sure America first, we have American jobs, especially with this AI revolution that's coming, and people are going to lose their jobs, specifically in the tech industry. Why are we bringing in other workers, specifically in the tech industry, but other ones as well? Why are we bringing them in when we're going to have Americans that are going to need those jobs? President Trump, if we're doing America first stuff? Like, stuff like that, I question. Why isn't Fauci in cuffs? Why is Zuckerberg sitting at a table with you, Mr. President, eating dinner? Why is Bill Gates sitting at a table with you, Mr. President, eating dinner? You know, I didn't think that was possible a year ago, but that's happening within your first year of administration. So it's very interesting to me. Puts me on alert. Makes me more concerned. Because those three assholes should be in jail. Two of them that you sat down to dinner with, and Fauci, the other prick, all three of them should be in jail. Gates is poisoning our food, buying up our farmland, doing who knows what else. Zuckerberg, Mr. Censorship, Mr. I go whichever way the wind blows. He's a piece of trash. You know? And Fauci, how's that dude still walking around? Notice how his name hasn't been on the media forever? They're just hoping he goes away. And it seems like it is. Like, I just don't get it. I don't get it. With all the stuff that people know, that they know about Fauci from emails, no cuffs. We know the money stuff with Soros, no cuffs. Money laundering with Singham, no cuffs. Hillary and Bill blowing off Congress, nothing being done. Oh, AG Pam Bondi missed 2 deadlines for the Epstein list. That's been quiet, by the way. No one said shit about that. But she's missed 2 federal deadlines. No accountability there either. Right? I think Thomas Massey had something to say about that. I wouldn't be surprised if Massey gets one day, soon, because he brings too much heat to these people. He brings too much heat and smoke. So, yeah, that's right, Chris. Fauci should fry, right? That's a simple one. That's a simple one. And yet a year later, that dude still hasn't been charged. Like, I don't give a crap about going to trial or anything like that. I want the charges on the books, though. It's time to get the charges on the books. Time to get Pelosi charged on the books. What do you want? You want insider trading? Sure. You want insurrection and treason? Sure. J6 admittedly on tape. This is her fault. It's admitted on tape. We've heard it. It's out there now. Where are the cuffs for that? Okay, right? All we keep doing is talking a big game, and now we're flexing our muscle like conquering Greenland's gonna do much for the price of milk and eggs, and to secure our election system. It's not. It's not. I think I saw the figure at like $700 billion. I believe something like that for Greenland, which is absolutely absurd. We're gonna pay each resident of Greenland a six-figure sum. Like, what are we doing here? And cash, by the way. I believe it was cash. I believe it was cash payment was discussed. So, like, I don't understand what we're doing here a year into President Trump's presidency. Like, where is America first? Don't the nationals create it? Bullshit, okay? Russia's not going to attack us. Stop playing this game. Putin's not going to do it. Okay, I'm a 42-year-old teacher. I don't know geopolitics, but I know Russia doesn't want to start a freaking war with us over here. I know China doesn't want to start a war with us over here. I believe our geography has kept us relatively safe since the founding of our country because we're not landlocked. There is distance, and yeah, I get supersonic missiles, this, that, and the other thing. Yeah, you really think having a couple bases in Greenland is going to shoot down missiles going Mach 10? Like, get the hell out of here. Right? What are we doing for the American people? The American people are feeling the crunch. The American people know time's ticking. The American people know pain's going to come their way if Trump doesn't get this shit figured out with the election systems and throw people in jail. Like, are we for real? Are we for real? Fauci walking around that, oh my Lord, right? Like, I completely forgot about, Mayorkas, let's get that other clown. Let's throw that other asshole in there too, right? Alejandro Mayorkas, the dude that busted open the border for 4 years, left over 20 million illegal immigrants into the country, removed the Texas National Guard to the border, said, no, you get out of my way. We're going to let all these fentanyl shit in. We're going to let all these illegals in, and you can't do a damn thing about it. Why isn't he being charged up? We already caught him actually committing perjury to Congress. Where are his charges? Pam Bondi, right? Like, what is going on here, President Trump? It's a year in, brother. We need arrest. We need movement on the needle. Because what's going to happen is there's going to be some chaotic event that's going to happen in another month or two that's going to draw all your attention there. And then we're going to get the rug pulled come the summer till November. Boom. House controlled by the Dems. Senate controlled by the Dems. Trump up for impeachment. Boom. And then we had 4 years, nothing ever happened, and then we're right back. So I don't want to leave you all negative. Comey, Brennan, thank you. Who is Chris? I see you today. Thank you, guys. Thank you for being active in the chat. Thank you for being active in the chat today. But I want to leave you this. Remember who was in charge of HHS before Kennedy got in? Wait till you peep the health ambassador from Wales. Her name is Atika Hamed. And she is the ambassador in Wales. Her name is Atika Hamed. Sounds pretty European to me. Let's play it.
A person who is from an ethnic minority background, some communities it's actually taboo to, and it's quite a sensitive topic to talk about. So if you're not being able to learn about these things through the medium of school, then where do you learn? And I wish when I was in school we were, they teach us in Welsh back about, how to apply for a bank account and how to, get a job. But what about things like how to check if, do a breast exam? How do I know if, signs of cervical cancer, screenings, when am I supposed to get those? The things that are going to prolong my life, So why don't we teach these things before we teach, how to get a job? Because if I'm not living long enough, how am I going to get a job?
Sounds like a nice health ambassador. Health ambassador, okay? We live in bizarro world. All day, every day. Where are we going? What are we doing? I have no idea. I know I get up every day, I come to work, pray to God something good happens in the world, pray that Trump does something well, pray I get home safe, pray my wife is safe, pray my kid is safe, and that's kind of That's what I got. But we basically live in bizarro world. We have no control over what happens above us. The forces that be will continuously do what they're doing. Someone needs to make it stop. Otherwise, we're going to be battling in the streets in the not so distant future. Okay, and I'm not calling for that, but the temperature is telling us different. Okay? But where are we going? What are we doing? Where are we going to be in 5 years? Where are we going to be? Where are we going to be this time next year? Where are we going to be in 365 days? I hope I could cue this up and eat crow because I was completely off base with everything I said in this episode. I really hope to God that's the case. That would be amazing. That would be best case scenario. I would love it. And I think most of you would love it too. And I would have no problem. Like, yeah, I was wrong. I'll eat that crow all day. I'll eat it all day. As long as it's for the betterment of this country and it's going to lead to a better country for my kid to grow up in, I will eat that crow all day. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's about for me. It's not even about it for me anymore. It's not it's about my kid. This country needs to be in a better place for him because he deserves it. It's my duty to do whatever I can to instill the right thoughts, beliefs, and principles into him. And it's up to our leaders who we trust or get put in there. It's up to them to get the job done. So Trump, you're our last hope, dude. You're our last hope. If ain't you, I don't know who. You campaigned on it. You campaigned on America. Let's do it. Let's do it. If you got to sign the Insurrection Act, do it. The people of America will support you. The majority of Americans don't agree with the bullshit that's going on throughout the country. They truly don't. Americans literally just want to be able to go to work, pay their bills, provide for their families, and put money into retirement. That's what they want. They want to be left alone and actually build a nest egg for their future, not survive check to check with chaos all in between. We need law and order. We need it to return. Because if it doesn't, the ladder's going to be worse. Oh, man. All right, let's pray out. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Dear Lord, thank you for this opportunity to sit in for Joe and to be able to use a platform to speak to people, to give them perspective and possible insight. I thank you for that, Lord. That truly is a gift. Thank you, Lord, for my loving wife and my child. They are my rock. I truly thank you for them every day. Thank you, Lord, for another day above ground, to be able to breathe this air, to see the beauty in the sky. Thank you for all of that. Dear Lord, though, please start giving our leaders the guidance and the will to follow through and to make this nation great again. You cannot control what people do, Lord. I understand that. Everyone has free will. But I pray to you to please allow people to exercise that free will for the betterment of America. We need your love. We need your patience. We need your guidance, God, now more than ever. I feel like I say this every time I pray to you, but I'm saying it again. We need the guidance and your love and your patience all in one to restore this nation to the glory that it once was. Dear Lord, please also allow me to be more open-minded and patient and loving towards those that I may not disagree with, that I do disagree with. Please make me a better person, Lord. I need your guidance to fine-tune myself to be the servant of you to the people and especially to my family, Lord. So please help me build myself up every day. It's a step-by-step process, God. So I thank you for giving me another day and another opportunity to be better. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining. Joe will have a dinner and debate on Thursday night up in Weld County. So please make sure to tune into that. It's being put on by the Women of Weld. So, yep, there it is. Thanks for popping that in, Damon. So take a look at that. You know, $30 a ticket, please. He'll love to see you there. Support him. But yeah, you got a lineup. You got Josh Griffin on, Senator Bob Kirkmeyer, Sheriff Jason Mixell, and Joe. A couple others decided not to partake, but it's a big field, and I'm pretty sure Joe will do great there and hold his own. My dude's a force. He really is a force. So yeah, check it out. Countdown's on, 48 hours away, give or take. And thank you so much for joining us. We will see you tomorrow. Good night, everyone.
Rising from the fight for the forgotten and the free, exposing rigged machines, Kuma's lies, Dominion's deceit, pays a grand each day, shielding truth from corrupt halls, but he won't back down, standing tall through it all. Bart and Tina Peters break the chains that bind her tight, hand count votes and one day bring the fraud to light. No more mailing scams, no machines to steal the night, restore the people's voice, make Colorado right. Governor Oltmann, lead us bold and true, badass for the have-nots, fighting through and through. Abolish property tax, cut the tolls away, shrink the bloated state, let the people have their say. It's our rally call, truth and freedom rise and watch the tyrants fall. Untamed Colorado, strong and proud, we'll be one man for the people, set our great state free. Help the single moms, bring back trade school strong, opportunity for youth, where the brave belong. Audit every NGO, ban the wolves that roam, reclaim our stolen land, bring the power home. Eric Kuma's fraud, Dominion's rigged design, expose the stolen votes, cross a dangerous line. No more victimhood, no chains on you and me. He's running for governor for real liberty. Smash the fraud machine, pardon heroes jailed for the have-nots. Rising truth will never fail. One warrior defies the corrupt elite. Colorado reborn, strong on our feet. Governor Oltmann, lead us bold and true, badass for the have-nots, fighting through and through. Abolish property tax, cut the tolls away, shrink the bloated state, let the people have the say. Governor Oltmann, it's our rally call, truth and freedom rise and watch the tyrants fall. Untamed Colorado, strong and proud, we'll be one man for the people, set our great state free. Governor Oltmann, lead us bold and true. Governor Oltmann, freedom forever, Colorado rise. Governor Oltmann, rise up untamed. In the heart of the fire where the wild ones roam, Joe Oltmann's calling, bringing truth back home. From conservative daily to this untamed fire, we shatter the silence, lifting spirits higher. No chains can hold us, no lies can prevail. Authentic and fearless on this rugged trail. Patriots gather under stars and stripes. Untamed nation, igniting the night. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and wild, forever strong. Play it again all night long. Time to heal. Joe's voice leads the untamed crew. Truth matters through and through. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Tame nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave